Imagine this. A man walks into a small cafe on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Nothing remarkable, nothing unusual. He orders a cup of coffee. As he waits, he notices two people sitting across the room. They glance towards him. One whispers something. The other laughs. Immediately, his stomach tightens. They are laughing at me. He begins searching for a reason. Did I spill something? Is my shirt dirty? Do I know them? The coffee suddenly tastes bitter. The room feels smaller. He leaves, embarrassed. The entire day changes because of that single moment. Hours later, he returns to the cafe. The waiter smiles. You looked worried earlier. The couple? They were laughing at a video on their phone. Silence. Nothing had happened, except inside your mind. The people never changed. The room never changed. Reality never changed. Only the story did. And perhaps that's how most of us spend our lives. Not reacting to reality, but reacting to stories our mind creates about reality. Tonight, we are going to uncover one of the greatest psychological discoveries ever made. Because the most dangerous prison is not built from iron. It is built from invisible lenses. Welcome to Novara Wisdom Gems. Imagine being born wearing a pair of glasses. You've never taken them off. You don't even know they're there. One person's glasses are slightly red. Another's are blue. Another's are cracked. Each believes they are seeing the world exactly as it is. Now imagine two people arguing. Neither is lying, neither is trying to deceive. They are simply looking through different lenses. This is the human condition. Psychologists call these lenses cognitive biases, mental shortcuts, patterns your brain developed to survive. Thousands of years ago, these shortcuts protected us. Today, they often imprison us. Your brain hates uncertainty. If information is missing, it fills in the blanks. Someone doesn't reply your message, your mind writes a story. They are ignoring me, they are angry, they don't respect me. Hours later, their phone battery had died. Nothing happened, except imagination pretending to be reality. Here is something extraordinary. Neuroscientists now know the brain doesn't simply record reality, it predicts it. It constantly guesses what it expects to see, long before your eyes finish collecting information. In other words, you don't just see the world, you help create the version you experience. Imagine holding an old camera. The lens is covered in dust. Every photograph looks dull, not because the world lacks beauty, because the lens is dirty. Bias works the same way. It quietly colors everything. The friend who forgot your birthday, the stranger who looked away, the interview that did not go well, the silence after an argument. Your mind rushes to explain everything. Not necessarily correctly, just quickly. So let's look at the 4 invisible traps. The first lens is confirmation bias. Imagine buying a red car. The next morning red cars seem to be everywhere. They didn't suddenly appear. Your attention changed. Beliefs behave the same way. Once you believe, I'm not good enough, your brain begins collecting evidence. Every mistake, every rejection, every criticism. The compliments, they quietly disappear into the background. The brain protects beliefs even when those beliefs hurt us. The second lens, negativity bias. Imagine receiving 10 letters. 9 contains wonderful news. 1 contains criticism. Which envelope stays in your thoughts tonight? Exactly, the critical one. Your ancestors survived because they remembered danger. Your brain still behaves as though every uncomfortable moment might threaten your survival. But today, most dangers are not lions. They are emails, comments, opinions, and expectations. The third lens is the halo effect. A confident speaker walks into a room, beautifully dressed, calm, charismatic. Immediately, many assume they are intelligent, trustworthy, and competent. But confidence and character are not the same thing. One positive trait quietly spills into every other judgment. Without asking permission, your mind edits reality. The fourth lens is the availability bias. A plane crash dominates the news for weeks. People become afraid of flying. Yet statistically, the drive to the airport remains far more dangerous. Your brain mistakes memorable stories for common reality. Emotion quietly replaces probability. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Entire industries understand your cognitive biases. Advertising, politics, social media, breaking news. They don't always change your beliefs. They simply fit the ones already living inside you. Algorithms learn your fears, your preference, your opinions. Then they give you more. Soon, your phone becomes an echo chamber, not showing you reality, but showing you your reality. Long before psychology existed, the Stoics noticed it. Marcus Aurelius questioned his first impressions. Epictetus warned that suffering begins in our interpretations. Centuries later, Carl Jung explored the unconscious forces shaping perception. Then psychologist David Kahneman revealed two systems of thinking. One is fast, emotional, and automatic. The other is slow, reflective, and curious. Wisdom begins the moment the slower mind asks the faster one, "Are you sure?" Can we eliminate bias? No, because we are human. But we can become aware, and awareness changes everything. The next time someone offends you, pause. The next time certainty appears, pause. Ask yourself, what else could be true? What evidence am I ignoring? What story is my mind writing? Curiosity is one of the greatest acts of humility. It reminds us that we may not be seeing the whole picture. Imagine standing before an old mirror. Years of dust covers the glass. You wipe away one layer, then another. Slowly, your reflection appears. The mirror did not change. You did. Perhaps wisdom has never been about seeing more. Perhaps it has always been about seeing more clearly. Because the greatest illusion is not that the world deceives us. It is that we believe our first perception is always the truth. Tonight, look around the room you're sitting in. Now ask yourself, how much of what I see belongs to reality? And how much belongs to the story my mind has been telling me? Perhaps the journey towards wisdom does not begin with changing the world. Perhaps it begins with cleaning the invisible lens through which you have always looked at it. Because every chapter is a question. Together, they tell one story. Until our next question, keep questioning.